out to deep left field. Big fly for Mike Trout. 1-0 Halos. Ground ball to second base. Rengifo falls down, picks it up, fires the first. The Angels have no hit. The Seattle Mariners. That is drilled out to left field. The Angels are going to have a 1-0 lead. Anthony Rendell with a big fly, his third.
Hey guys, I'm Alex Curry.
This is Joe Adele here with the Los Angeles Angels.
Brendan Marsh.
This is Chris Rodriguez.
And you're listening to the All Angels Podcast.
And welcome to another edition of the All Angels Podcast. And we are back in Halo Haven with, of course,
the curator.
And obviously, Angels finish up a Bay Area road trip, 6 games, last 2 games out in San Francisco. So let's review that before we get to the news that has happened in the last couple of days. There's something that's from like a week ago that we could talk to with Chris about, because I know he's invested in it, I guess, or has been around this area for a while. But we'll get to that in a bit. So let's start Monday, Memorial Day. I think when you think baseball season and like certain days that stand out to you, Memorial Day is definitely one of them. 4th of July is one of them. Opening day. I think
even Mother's Day.
Yeah, Mother's Day, and even
with
Father's Day now too.
Yeah,
like
with the pink and the blue and all that. So those have been kind of like those, landmark days.
Yeah, the standout days.
Sure.
And another thing about Memorial Day too, it's kind of like that 2-month-ish. You have all of May, all of April. Like now you're into March, but it kind of gives you a feeling of where a team is at, or a better feeling of where the team's at. Like I feel like at the end of Memorial Day, there is a good sample size, or good enough sample size to start getting an idea. And obviously, with the Angels especially, there's a bunch of injuries that hope when guys come back can kind of change the route of this team. But Memorial Day, I think, is a good barometer of where you can be as a team. And so obviously, Angels haven't been great, but they had 2 games up in San Francisco.
I thought the barometer to gauge your team was like the first 15 games, because I was pretty psyched about that.
I mean, it depends on who you ask.
I thought we were World Series champs the first month of the season.
But if your team's like 13-2 after the first 15, you're like, oh, that's it. They're a great team. But if they're like, 5 and 10, you're like, oh, it's early. Wow. It's all good. So obviously, let's get to Monday. Up in San Francisco, right across the bay from Oakland. So not very good, not very far traveled. Don't have to worry about guys getting stuck in traffic or getting stuck on the BART. You had to worry with Ohtani.
Yeah. Have you been to Oakland?
I've been to San Francisco, not Oakland.
Okay.
So
it's an experience.
Okay. You've been out there. You've been to the Coliseum, so you know exactly what it is over there.
And then, of course, we dressed up with like mullets. And,
rally mullet, right?
Yeah. Somebody
wow, that never caught on. I don't know why.
Somebody called me Pee Wee Herman when I was in line.
Okay. Was it an Oakland fan or was it an
Angel fan? It was Oakland fan, right?
Are they?
Yeah, they come hard. They come hard, and I think we talked about it before. I respect it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fun when a nacho helmet hits your face and then a little kid throws the F word at you. But at the end of the day, I do respect it.
Right.
So,
okay. You're in their territory, I guess.
I like the drums. I like the signs. It's true home field advantage.
I mean,
sure.
I guess if no one's throwing a punch, it's all good, right?
Yeah,
that's the next step. But we're in San Francisco, I guess the classier of the two.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously from the stadiums to the fans. Bundy takes the mound. Bundy has obviously been struggling his last handful of starts, and Angel fans really hoping for that 2020 Bundy to kind of come out and hoping that this was kind of going to be the start of it. Unfortunately, it didn't go that way. The Angels do get up first on an Anthony Ben Boom fielder's choice that scores Jared Walsh. So you're kind of, it's always good to score first. I think I heard a stat out there. Teams that score first are like 70% to win the games. So I'm guessing the other 30% kind of fits the Angels, or the Angels are the ones bringing it down.
Or the outlier.
Yeah, exactly. Bundy will look good until he gave up a home run to Evan Longoria, 2-run shot in the 4th. That would be obviously 2-1 Giants, and he would continue to give up home runs. Gave up 3 home runs total in this game. He would end up going 5 2/3, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, and again 3 home runs. All his runs are off of home runs. People like to say, well, he's bad luck, or his FIP or whatever is better than his ERA. And that takes into consideration, obviously, like the fielding behind you and the errors, which Angels have been really struggling with. But something that, I guess each ballpark's different, but getting up home runs is there's no one else to blame but the catch or the pitcher in that situation. Just getting up long balls. And that's exactly what's hurt Bundy so far this year. Yeah. So obviously not another not a great outing again by Bundy, and a meh, outing again. 5 2/3, 4 earned runs. Unfortunately, they were not able to get much in the run production, only scoring that one run early. And this has probably been the story of the Angels offense so far this year.
Yeah. So like, say Bundy has a good game, gives up 2 runs,
Right.
still loses.
Yeah.
He can go the distance, throw 90s pitch, and still lose. So.
Right. So Angels 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position, 6 left on base. Definitely not a winning formula, I guess, if you want to beat a good team. Which again, the Giants are a good team. Surprisingly, they're up there. I think they're the second place in the NL West right now, behind San Diego and just ahead of the Dodgers, which I don't know about you, but I did not expect that coming from San Francisco at the beginning of this year. You're kind of thinking rebuild with some of their older players, Longoria being one of them, and Posey's having a really good year. Crawford, I think, a really underrated shortstop. I talked about that a little bit on our last podcast. But obviously, they dropped the first game in San Francisco. Bundy not spectacular on the mound. Are you worried about Bundy, or do you think it's something that can be fixed? It's a longer season, so I guess he has that going for him. It's not that 30-game sprint like last year where it's like, or a 60-game sprint where it's, if you have 5 or 6 bad starts, that's pretty much your whole season.
Yeah, I'm actually worried. Like, you're getting deep now. Like you said, Memorial Day, and he hasn't got a win.
Yeah.
Right.
And granted, like you mentioned, though, it's like part of that. Some of those starts are on the offense. It's not giving.
Are they quality starts? Maybe a few of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Quality starts, but we're getting deep into a season. He's on a contract year, so this is gonna kill him.
Right.
Which is kind of surprising. Like, on a contract year, people kind of overperform.
Yeah.
And like, as far as the Angels, like, re-signing him, like,
I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it, and I'm not seeing a lot of people having interest.
Definitely don't think.
Can he right the ship? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
of course, long season, like you said. But like, while I'm looking around the league, the guys have 6-7 wins right now, and he's still sitting at 0.
Right. And you just kind of wonder if that ankle's still a thing. If it's not a thing, if it is, then I've said this before. He's a good pitcher, but he doesn't strike me as a pitcher that when he's injured or isn't 100%, like, he's not a pitcher that 85% can go out there and tear it up. Like, he needs to be like 100%.
He doesn't overpower people.
Right.
And I think it's about, placement. It's about hitting his spots.
Yeah.
And if he's not hitting his spots, he's going to get crushed on.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but he has grit. And I think that's kind of, the makeup and fabric of someone you want out there, like a bulldog type of pitcher, your front of the line pitcher. And I don't know. Madden seems pretty optimistic that he's going to, turn it around. So.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, so we have a comment on our Instagram. Last year was an arbitration. He looks more like the guy the Orioles gave up on. This is more than likely the real him. Do you think do you think this is the real him, or do you think last year was the real him?
Well, he came out of Camden, right? Camden's pretty hitter friendly.
Well,
that
whole division. I mean, you look at Camden, you look at Yankee
Stadium, you're getting bombed on, dude. Like
Boston.
Yeah.
I mean, we see in Boston how some of those, you get up around the pole.
That's what we thought, especially like him, Alex Cobb, guys like that came out of Camden.
But Cobb seems to be doing. I mean, obviously he has one good start, and we'll get to that.
Yeah, and so we see Bundy come through. Bundy, former number 1 pick, stuff like that. So I don't know. This could be the real him, and obviously, like you said, Baltimore gave up on him.
Right. I mean, they didn't. We traded
a low prospect.
That was
not low, but
I mean, it was Jemai. It was Isaac Matson, I think, was one of them too. So 2 guys that Isaac has played in the majors. I think he's back down AAA, but he's a bullpen arm. And then Jemai has always seemed to have a struggle finding consistency with the Angels. And now it seems like, because I don't think he's debuted with Baltimore as far as in the majors. Yeah. I know he had that one outing last year where he came and pitched, ran. I think he stole the base, but then you never saw him again in an Angel uniform. So Bundy has to be one of those guys that, if the Angels are serious about rebuilding at the trade deadline, if they're still not working out, if they're still, double digits out of a playoff spot, if Bundy's turns it around, he can, bring back a good amount of prospects, probably not your top 50 type of prospect, but a guy that can contribute in some way for a team. But if he continues on the road he's on, I honestly don't know if there's going to be a market or anything from even at that point in the trade deadline. So that's something definitely to watch out for. So that was Monday, again, Memorial Day. So that ends the month of May for the Angels. Angels went 12-18 for the month of May. Granted, it was a tough month. They had the Astros a couple. They had the A's a couple times. Obviously, the Dodgers in the beginning of the month. There's a lot of good teams in that month. Now that we're flipping the calendar to June, obviously the next series is with Seattle. Seattle's kind of come down to earth a little bit. Then the series after that is Kansas City. They've come really down to earth after their hot start, and Angels got caught up in that hot start earlier in the year in Kansas City. So hopefully they're able to take advantage of some of these lower tier teams and make a run at it, or at least not lose ground until Trout comes back. And that's something to, again, watch out for with the month coming up. But before the game on Tuesday, Max Stassi was activated from the IL. And a lot of people believe he's, again, I don't talk to these people, but you look at their posts and stuff like that on social media, and they kind of feel like he's the missing key or
spark plug.
He's the guy that's going to turn whenever you put out,
if you would have told me 2 years ago that Max Stassi,
even this offseason.
Well, I mean, he had a good season last year. So, but like Max Stassi is like your key to success. This guy's the catalyst to everything. To the Angels, to the World Series, right? I would have laughed at you. Like, we got Max Stassi for like next to nothing from the Astros.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I don't even remember.
I think it was a case of beer.
Maybe. Yeah.
But I do appreciate Max Stassi, and there's something like he became like the veteran catcher leadership on the team, and he showed some pop.
Yeah.
So having him back, I'm like, I do feel more confident for him him.
I do. I mean, I don't get me wrong. Like, he's obviously an upgrade from the position at this point. Drew Butera got DFA'd at a point. You still have Suzuki, and you still have Ben Boom on the roster with him. So you're carrying 3 catchers, which is rare for the Angels. So I'm guessing one of those guys is going to go down at some point. But you post stuff about Bundy, and it's like, oh, another bad outing, and someone replies, well, it's the catcher. It's like, okay, like, maybe. I'm not gonna sit here and say like, Stassi's gonna turn Bundy into from this point on a 15-game winner of the season. He's gonna bounce back and stuff like that. So
there's something to be said about like catchers and feeling comfortable and calling a good game and stuff like that.
But the funny part is, though, they put out a stat. Trent Rush put out a stat that before this game that the Angels were 12-10 or 12-9 when Stassi or Butera catch, and then obviously way below 500 with the others. But yet Butera is the one that got DFA'd, and now is in Salt Lake, and those quote unquote others are now Stassi's backup. So I don't know what the Angels are trying to do with the catching position, because to me it seemed pretty easy to say, okay, cool, Stassi's back. You got to send down Kurt or Ben Boom. You got to keep Butera there, and if you want to keep 3 on the roster, catchers on the roster, then fine. But Joe seems to love guys that play multiple positions, and as far as I know, Ben Boom, Suzuki, and Stassi only play one position. So we'll see how that plays out.
I mean, I think if we look at the Angels for the last 10 years, I think the catching position has been like the biggest like revolving door.
Yeah.
Like,
or the biggest question mark. I mean,
when was the last time you had consistency at the catching position? You have to be the Molina days.
Well, I mean, defensively, you can say Maldonado, but offensively, you weren't getting a whole lot.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're looking for like the total package, maybe
you had the Mathis Napoli kind of connection, but before that,
but like, how long ago was that? Though how long was that? That was what,
a couple year period.
No, I'm saying, how long ago was it? Like, was it 2000
like 09, 08, stuff like that. So
definitely some time in between reliable like catcher type.
If you had to add up all the catchers that we've had in the last 10 years,
I'm gonna do it now.
I don't have enough fingers on my hand.
I mean, you can go Carlos Perez.
Perez, throwing him out at signing days or at the auto center.
So funny part. So that trip we went to Vegas last couple weekends ago to see the Bees and the Aviators play. Guess who was catching for the Aviators?
Carlos Perez.
Exactly. And when he came with the bat, they said, "Oh, next up, play catcher Carlos Perez." I'm like, "The same Carlos Perez." So they give you like obviously the little booklet of the players. So I go through it real quick. And sure enough, Carlos Perez. When I look him up, he went from the Angels to the Braves to Oakland, I think. Or no, he's with Oakland now, and then he went from the Braves to somewhere else, and now he's back with Oakland.
Yeah, funny story. When we went to the Carlos Perez signing like at some, I felt like it was
like a
an
T-Mobile or something,
T-Mobile,
something like
AT&T,
that,
Jitterbug. I don't know. But that same day, we also went to the Chuck Finley signing, which was over at that
the
Cube
Discovery
Discovery kind of center, educational facility for kids.
Right.
So we had Chuck Finley, Angels legend, and then nobody in line.
Oh, I remember
nobody. We could have went
that.
through and probably got 20 autographs. I think one of our friends autographed every picture in our book. And then we go over to the Carlos Perez, lines out the door, going through the thing. It just shows you the priorities. Like,
well, because he was like the
newness,
the hot name.
He actually had like a walk off
like 2 nights ago. Yeah, like 2 nights ago.
It was pretty cool. So yeah, how far we fall.
Right, exactly. So, but Matt Sassy comes back from his concussion IL. He's missed time for concussion and he's missed time for a thumb both this year. So health obviously is a big point for him. And if he can stay healthy, great. But he hasn't yet. So that's something obviously that the Angels need, and hopefully he can get out of him. Another thing too, coming into this game, since Mike Trout's injury on the 17th, Anthony Rendon has been struggling mightily. He's been a guy that when the Trout injury happened, I came out and was like, you know what, this offense is good enough to produce runs, without Trout, or maybe not as much, but we're able to still be in games if Wall steps up, if Rendon steps up, if at the time if Albert and Upton step up, but Rendon obviously struggling since then. Before Tuesday's game, he was 6 for 49 since Trout's injury. That's like a 1.8 something batting average, only 2 RBIs and slugging 163. And a lot of fans you start seeing again on Twitter and all, Twitter's kind of a negative cesspool of people at times, it seems like.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
No way.
Yeah. People were kind of calling for the Anthony Rendon bust again. Another signing.
What do they want to do? Like cut his contract?
Yeah,
Pujols,
that's pretty much another Hamilton, another Pujols.
No, I'll tell you what, Rendon's not another Hamilton.
No, because even defensively, even during this slump, he's been lights out on the field as far as defensively and making great plays. And I mean, I don't know who else you would put out there when he's gone. I mean, you put Rojas, but Rojas you've shown to have struggles at third base, and same thing with Fletcher. But defensively, Rendon has been top of his game.
Yeah, then we haven't got to it, but we're talking about a 5 RBI night.
Yeah, exactly.
Game, right?
So
and then you could throw Phil Gosselin out there, and I think last time I was on the podcast, I called Phil Gosselin a poor man's Rob Quinlan.
Oh yeah.
I take that back.
Oh, is Rob Quinlan a poor man?
Poor man's Phil Gosselin.
Yeah,
Phil Gosselin's the man, dude. There you go.
Guy. The goose is loose.
This guy's legit.
Yeah, he's actually been showing up in the limited at bats he gets. He's been doing a really, really good job. So let's get to the game. Obviously, on the June 1st, that was Tuesday. We are recording this Wednesday night on the off day. Andrew Heaney goes for his second W in a row, and he would help himself, bases loaded. Your boy Phil Gosselin, I believe, is at the mound or at the plate, and this is what happens.
Into the dirt it goes, hustling to the plate, with the slide to boot. That's your pitcher, Andrew Heaney.
So Andrew Heaney gets on base with a hard line drive, and something that we didn't say in the first game on Monday, also a hard line drive by Dylan Bundy. So now these pitchers, I don't know if being around Ohtani or what.
The showness,
yeah, being around Ohtani, but the pitchers each get a hit in their outing. So, but Heaney actually does come around. When I saw the ball get away, and me in the back of my head knowing Andrew's on third, I'm just like, oh, he's not gonna go. Like, why? Like, as a pitcher, I don't know if that's a green light for you, like it would be a normal position player. Or
let me just tell you this: pitchers get a bad rap. When you're in Little League, your best player on the team is your pitcher. Your pitcher can play shortstop. Your pitcher can play center field. Your pitcher can probably catch. These are the same guys, and then all of a sudden they get, kind of regulated to not hitting, and then they don't hit, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, these pitchers can't hit, but they got some pop and they got some awareness on the base pass, so it's good.
So this is the third inning, and then two batters later, like you mentioned, Anthony Rendon. Hopefully, this is the one that gets him out of a slump and turns it around.
Anthony, he does get back on track. Lines it into left field. 1 and then 2 Angels will score. Rendon gets it done. 3-0.
So good against Alex Wood.
So like Sut said, 3-0 Angels. You have Rendon with a hit with runners in scoring position, because like we mentioned before, that always seems to be the issue. You get guys on like second base with no outs, and then you get like a strikeout, fielder's choice, and then a pop-up. You know what I mean? There's never able to get that guy all the way around after having such a good start. But it's good to see, like I mentioned, Rendon. Hopefully this is the turning point to get him going, because people know, and obviously history has shown that once he does heat up, he's good. And it just seems like a lot that's happened with him last year too. Again, a slow start, and then once he heated up, he was fine and he was good. So, like I mentioned before, Stassi off the IL comes up to bat in the fourth and has this great offensive at bat.
He does go that way with some oomph to it toward the wall, leaping, unable to make the play. It bangs off that brick wall. Ward sent on around toward the plate. The relay not in time. It's 2 bases. It's an RBI, and it's the Angels adding on 4-0.
So you saw obviously Stassi's little pop, like kind of like what you mentioned. He does have that pop in the bat that has seriously been lacking for Angels catchers now for a little while. So if that is, something that carries over from last season, again, it adds depth to this lineup. You're going to need that depth. That Mike Trout's still on the injured list and still recovering from his strained calf. So we'll see how it goes from here. Obviously, today's day off, Wednesday, Thursday. Hopefully see him back in the lineup and continue building that quote unquote like little hot streak. He hopefully can start up going. But also talking about hot streaks, Anthony Rendon after a Matt Whistler walk with the bases loaded in the fourth to make it 5-0. The very next hitter is Anthony Rendon. And again, hopefully this is a sign of things to come.
Shot, base hit. How about many more? 1 man in red, come on down. Here comes the second. Wong hustles on in. He will score. Anthony Rendon again.
So again, Anthony Rendon coming up clutch in bases loaded situation to put the Angels, for the most part, out of reach with that 8-run outing so far. The Giants would end up getting 1 run off of Andrew Heaney in the 7th, and that would kind of close off his day. Good day. 6 1/3, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. So, and a great base hit and a run scored.
Yeah, promising outing by Heen Dog Millionaire. Yeah, it's good to see him back and feeling confident out there and getting some hits out there in the Bay. And
right,
yeah.
So again, the Angels would win this game 8-1, which finishes the Bay Area road trip 3-3 against 2 really good teams, the Oakland A's and the San Francisco Giants. So all in all, not a bad road trip. You kind of go on the road trip hoping to be 500, especially against really good teams. But now kind of looking ahead a little bit to, like I mentioned, Seattle coming into town, coming to Anaheim to start this homestand. They've kind of dropped a little bit, come back to earth since their hot start. But the next series in Seattle starts Thursday. Starts with Justice Sheffield versus Griffin Canning. Sheffield did play the Angels, or did pitch against the Angels last time they met up, and this last outing was May 2nd. Really good outing by Justice Sheffield. So we'll see what happens. He went 6 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned runs against the Angels last time. Again, that was May 2nd up in Safeco or T-Mobile now. Oh, yeah, T-Mobile.
Nobody cares.
Yeah. And he's going against Griffin Canning on Thursday. Griffin Canning's last start was against Texas. Another good outing by Canning. 6 innings, 4 hits, and 3 runs. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, Canning can continue to build and kind of hopefully turn the corner. I mentioned it a handful of times, and Sutton actually kind of mentioned it too yesterday on pregame about a lot of the young starters that the Angels have in their system. And
yeah, you put a graphic out and just looking at the age and where they're at, I think we're a little bit maybe too critical sometimes.
I think so.
Like these guys are 23, 24-year-old guys
Yeah.
trying to still figure it
Canning's
out.
25.
And then you like put out like a DeGrom or,
DeGrom,
like
Bauer,
kind of
and
hitting their stride
later. Yeah,
right?
DeGrom,
Like 27,
yeah,
first
DeGrom-
All-Star
yeah.
game, stuff like that. So I think sometimes we're like, oh, why isn't this guy fully developed? And we're expecting that at such an early age, and it takes a while.
Well, you look at guys like, and they mentioned it too. You look at guys like a Suarez that are like 23 years old. Chris Rodriguez, 21, 22 years old. These guys, Suarez,
Didn't even go to college.
right? So like Suarez,
Straight out of high school.
Well, Suarez is international, so like he would be a senior in college right now, or he would be around that age, a senior in high or college right now. So just think of it that way. Like he hasn't had that kind of college development like a Reed Detmers. Like him and Reed are really close in age, but yeah, look at where Reed Detmers is compared to, or even Chris Rodriguez. Look where Chris Rodriguez compares to Reed Detmers. You just got to give time to some of these younger
And
guys.
then like look at Suarez this year versus last year versus the year before.
Brea's
He was
24
getting
too.
raped.
Yeah.
And then now he's coming in being a long reliever.
Right. And
got us through some games in Houston.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So I mean, there's a lot of promise.
And then too, like I mentioned, there's like 6 guys in the system. They're like 25 and younger, including Canning. And then too, if you want to go 26 and younger, 27 and younger, now you're including Ohtani. But if out of those 6 guys, if like 2 of them hit, 2 of them become frontline starters, maybe not Ace, maybe not DeGrom, maybe not Bauer, maybe not those type of guys, but if 2 of them become legit front of the rotation type of pitchers, then I think the Angels are set for a while. It's just like we mentioned, the sad part is so their clocks are already started. So by the time they get to that plateau, they might be free agents. And now this might be a situation where Angels are really going to have to start forking over money for these pitchers if they do develop the way that Angel fans hope they will. So we'll see what happens, and hopefully Canning can continue growing, continue developing, because like I mentioned, 25 years old, he's going on Thursday. On Friday, Shohei Ohtani takes the mound, so everyone stay off the 5, everyone stay off the 57, so we don't have to worry about traffic and him not getting there on time, like the situation out in Oakland. But he is going against Justin Dunn. Justin did not face the Angels last time Seattle was in town, or the Angels were up in Seattle, but his last outing was against Texas. He went 5 2/3, 2 hits, 1 earned run. So a very good start by him. Texas as well, Texas. So you can kind of take that with a grain of salt. But at the same time, Ohtani, Oakland, his last outing was last Friday. He went 6 hits, 3 hits, 3 innings, 6 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, and 4 walks. I think the walks is something that's very you got to watch out for. But he did get his velocity back, and we talked about that a little bit after that Oakland series, that at least it's getting back. And a lot of people were worried when he had that outing a little while ago.
Like 91.
Yeah, topped out like a 93 or something like that. But he was able to get his velocity back, and that's something to look forward to. So Ohtani Fridays at the Big A with the Trout 300 bobble, or the Trout. No, it's a Trout. I think 3 MVP or the 3-time MVP bobblehead.
Have they already given this out?
They given out both of them, and they're planning to do it again later this year
Because they have 45,000.
Yeah, exactly. Stacked somewhere, so they have to do that. So the Trout bobblehead night. What a surprise! The Trout bobblehead Friday night, and then you go to Saturday. Kikuchi for Seattle facing Alex Cobb, and we talked about Alex Cobb a little bit, having a really good start against Oakland. 7 innings, 3 hits, 0 earned runs, and Kikuchi is 3-3 this season with a 3.88 ERA. His last outing was 6 2/3, 3 hits, 2 earned runs. So it seems like all these Seattle guys are coming off of really good starts. So, hopefully the Angels are able to get to him while they're down. Hopefully they get to him early before they kind of settle in, because I think that's a big key for some of these guys. And then Logan Gilbert is going Sunday for Seattle. This will be his 5th game of his career. He's only been in 4 games so far this year. He's 0-2 with a 5.94 ERA. But his last start against Oakland, the same Oakland team the Angels just finished on this last road trip, went 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs. So he's coming off a good start. Maybe he found something. Maybe it was, beginner's luck. I don't know. But again, his 5th start as a major league pitcher. I don't know what you think, but like, to me, it seems like the Angels have had trouble against like new guys where the book's not fully out on them.
Yeah, they're probably not a lot of info.
Right.
not a
And so it
little,
seems like they struggle against those
depth
type of
charts
guys. Yeah.
and little things to bust out of your pocket to
The
look
no
at.
card,
But yeah, what's
exactly.
up with that? Anyway,
I mean, 21st
cheat
century.
sheets.
Right.
You used to get in trouble for school if you busted out that during a test.
Do they still?
I don't know.
Aren't you a teacher?
No, they're airdropping.
Oh, they're airdropping. Is that the
Yeah.
new technology?
Yeah,
now?
airdropping.
Isn't that what the
split
Astros-
screening.
Isn't that the Astros got in trouble for?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
we digress.
we digress. The starter for the Angels is to be determined. So maybe by the time you're listening to this, they will announce the starter for Sunday. You have two options in my eyes. That Quintana is now in the IL with shoulder inflammation. He got pulled off his Sunday starting in Oakland. Came out shoulder inflammation, went on the IL. But your two, guys that could start this game, but again, nothing is for sure yet. Patrick Sandoval or Dylan Bundy.
Dude, Sandoval.
Is that where you're going? Is that what you go with?
Sandoval's shown some promise lately.
Again, another one of those guys we're
Young
talking
dude.
about.
Young
that's like
dude.
24 years old.
Yeah. You know Bundy's walking after this year, so you got to invest in these young guys. And Sandoval's looking solid.
And that's interesting too. Like at what point, because is you can say if Sandoval is ready for a full-time starting gig, or is Suarez a start or ready for one, or like these younger guys, Reed Detmers, I know a lot of people want to see him up at some point this year. At what point do you think they bring some of those guys out and say feed them to the wolves, or do you think the Angels kind of, even if they're out of it, protect them a little bit from getting lit up and maybe having a confidence issue going forward because of a couple bad starts at the end of the year that maybe they weren't ready for?
I don't know. You just gotta. I think you trial by fire, right? If you're gonna be good, you're gonna be good. Trout had a bad first season.
Yeah, but you don't think it's different between hitters and pitchers, though? Do you think pitchers are more mental?
Like
kind of?
that. Yeah, pitchers are mental.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
pitchers seem to be a little different, when it comes to some of this stuff. So I don't know if that's harder for them to bounce back on. Where Mike Trout has a bad game, he's 0 for 4 or whatever. At least the very next day he can go out there and try to right the ship.
Yeah, you got to wait.
Yeah, and you sit on.
You got
it.
5 days.
You have to sit on it. You can probably overanalyze what you did right and did
Yeah,
wrong, and it can really mess with
like
the guy.
Sandoval. I'm gonna nickname him Sandy.
Sandy. I don't think you're the first one.
I'm sure he's probably got that before, but Sandy, like, it took him forever to, I think, finally get his first win.
Yeah.
Has he got it?
Oh yeah, I think
he
he's got it. I think
right?
he's got it. I think
it took him forever. It was like that.
That was like
the
2019
elephant in the
yeah.
room, right? It took
Yeah.
him forever. Had some quality starts, just didn't get the run support.
Right.
Yeah, but someone like that. But look how he's rebounded since
then. Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know. He had that mental little like thing in the back of his head, but I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll
I don't know if it's the right thing. He does. He has one career win, and that came in 2020.
Yeah,
but he's only pitched in games started. He only started in 18 games, so not great. But I mean, he's still, like you said, he's shown promise the last couple times through the rotation, and especially too. I was really surprised and pleasantly surprised off of the spot start when Ohtani got stuck in the traffic issue and all that stuff. Where, I mean, you come into the ballpark thinking you're going to be used as like a long reliever if needed. Yeah. And then all of a sudden the coach comes up to you, hey, you need to start this game. Here's the ball. Yeah. Go do your routine kind of deal. So, I mean, that's something that you need to almost like there's not enough time to think.
Yeah, but like if you think about like at every level, something like that's happened to you.
Where
you're like playing JV baseball and they're like, hey, dude,
we need you from the varsity.
The kid that was supposed to start just got suspended.
We need you to start the varsity.
You need to start today.
Yeah.
In varsity.
Yeah, that's true.
You got to step up, and like people that are going to rise up to the next level perform, and that's what it is. So these guys are professionals.
Yeah. So hopefully, we'll see what happens on Sunday. And again, maybe by the time you guys are listening to this, they will announce the Sunday starter. But yeah, I'm kind of with you. I wouldn't mind to see Sandoval out there. I still think Bundy's probably nursing this ankle a little bit, so giving him an extra day wouldn't be half bad. And seeing what happens on Monday. And I'm guessing whoever doesn't start Sunday will probably pitch Monday. I don't see why not. But so that's going to wrap it for this review and kind of looking ahead a little bit. Again, it's a 4-game series against Seattle at the Big A, starting Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday being a bobblehead night for Shohei Fridays, and hopefully he'll bat. I don't see why not.
Yeah.
So I mean, you have a bench now a little bit more now that you brought up or you activated Max Stassi and you got 3 catchers on the roster. So definitely, some guy you probably could see though on Thursday be activated, and maybe he takes one of those catchers or takes one of those catchers spots is Chris Rodriguez. 2 outings at Salt Lake. The first outing was like a start, but he only pitched like an inning. Second was, I believe, 2 innings, but later in the game, so he had to go through his bullpen routine of as far as warming up in the bullpen, getting hot, waiting for the manager to call your name for the most part and come in. I think he threw 2 innings there, gave up 1 run, but a good outing out in Salt Lake. And Angels have said or hinted at least him being possibly ready for activation on Thursday, which makes a lot of sense because again, he pitched Monday. You're not going to activate him on Tuesday because he's not going to pitch. He's not going to be available. So you're wasting a spot. And then obviously today, Wednesday being an off day. So definitely look out for that news Thursday afternoon before the game. Chris Rodriguez coming back to the Angels. And again, I think that spark that they need in the bullpen, I think he can definitely supply that for a bullpen that's just been really struggling as of late.
Dismal.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about it earlier.
Atrocious.
The starting pitching has not been half bad, but it's been
how many
bullpen.
synonyms can we come up for this?
You're the
pitching.
You're the educated one.
I'm gonna get this thesaurus out from
there.
Merriam-Webster.
I'm sure there's an app for that. You can just get on your phone and make it real easy.
Goodness.
So that is Chris Rodriguez coming out hopefully Thursday. Mike Trout out of a walking boot news comes out Tuesday that happens. So hopefully he's gonna start working his way back to getting ready for a rehab assignment. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Hopefully with Inland Empire.
66ers.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. We don't know yet. They have not hinted it, but when Stassi and Rodriguez started, they went to Salt Lake. So I didn't like that. But if you remember last time Trout was out for that length of time, he made his rehab assignment where?
San Bernardino.
So hopefully he will come out in San Bernardino. If so, we will.
Do you think the low A affiliation has affected the rehab, or
I don't think so because
then why are we sending people to Salt Lake?
I think it's because of the timing of it, where they were in Oakland.
Trip,
they were in Oakland. They were in Oakland
location?
and San Francisco. Because Salt Lake to San Francisco, I don't think is that far at all.
Yeah, because we've been talking about it years ago. They didn't rehab single A,
right? But the last 3 years they have.
Everybody.
Yeah, everybody from
single A,
Upton.
Proximity. We're talking 45 miles from the stadium.
Exactly. So I think it might honestly depend when he's ready, where they're at.
Yeah.
But I know the main reason why they don't go to this place or another place is because the field conditions.
Yeah.
And the field at Inland Empire has always been good, and obviously it shows because they've had rehab starts there for everything, for pitchers, for position players.
Weaver,
Simmons,
CJ Wilson,
Trout, Upton, Shoemaker, Lucroy, players, actual players. So I don't think the low A has anything to do with it. I think it's more where they're going to be located and obviously the field conditions. And I think the field conditions are not a problem unless Notre Dame High School really jacked it up after the graduation.
Yeah, they probably did.
Yeah. So, I mean, we got time. They got time to redo it. So we'll see what happens. So that's going to do it for this part of the episode. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to have another episode of the Curators Chronicles.
Let's go! Batter up! We're taking the afternoon off. It's a beautiful day for a ball game, too.
Ladies and gentlemen, Halo fans alike, this is another edition of the world famous Curators Chronicles. It's world famous because I said so.
There you go.
I think we're pretty big in Taiwan.
Well, I'm about to say if we got 3 downloads, one in Canada, one in Japan, and one in Australia, does that make it?
That's world.
That's it.
We're
good.
talking 5 time zones right
there. We go. So we got 1 download in each, so we're good.
Oh, we're good.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, Otani effect in Japan.
I think honestly that's probably what it is.
Right. Remember David Hasselhoff? He was big in Germany.
There you go.
We're big in all over.
There you go.
This edition of the Curators Chronicles features the renovation of Angel Stadium, also known as Anaheim Stadium, also known as the Big Ed. And I think,
that's it,
Daniel,
yeah.
you might have been too young or you weren't involved in Angels baseball at this point, but they renovated the stadium. All the rage was to turn a two-sport stadium. So you had all these stadiums that were baseball and football.
Right.
And then we went
The
away
80s.
from that. From the 80s,
The 80s.
right? The 80s. So we went away from the Los Angeles Rams and we went to an all baseball stadium when Disney purchased the stadium. So they had a huge renovation. And because of that, we're sitting in some orange seats that were probably just thrown out in the parking lot. Anyways, when they did the stadium, they had construction worker helmets because it was kind of cool. Disney's all about that,
Marketing.
yeah, marketing, and they're geniuses at that. But I went with my mom and my friend. They actually had a tour of the stadium when they were pushing dirt, knocking down stuff. And Terry Collins was the actually manager of the new Anaheim Angels, the rebranding, the Disney era, the Periwinkle era.
John's favorite,
right? So we brought in that little, that light blue. Anyways, all the execs used to walk around the stadium wearing nothing but this. Well, I hope they're wearing something more than that. But it's
on their head.
If you're watching online, it's a construction helmet with that classic Periwinkle crossbat logo. They had a red one, they had a white one, and depending on who you were and what type of employee you were.
Yeah.
I think the white one was a little bit more selective.
It's like foreman of the job, probably.
Yeah, if you signed up for the tour, you were given a plastic one.
Oh,
so like you're
I don't want nothing to fall on me. I don't if I'm in somewhere where everyone's wearing like a legit hard hat and you're gonna give me this little plastic one.
The plastic one was like super thin. It's like a toy one.
If that guy over there has a super hard regular hard hat, why am I wearing this? Like, why am I?
If a beam would have hit you, you would have died.
Yeah. If a pebble would have hit you from a distance, you would have died.
Anyways, I used to have those. I don't know where they're at.
Buried
but I came up on this one, and I also came up on a white one through eBay. But yeah, the whites for like big time execs. So but that was one of the biggest transformations of the stadium. Like that's where the rock pile came in. That's where the outfield opened up again. So as much as we criticize Disney, it brought us that California landscape that we kind of love today. And all these opposing fans come into our stadium and they love our stadium.
That's what I understand too.
I've never heard anything negative. The access to the freeway. So
parking.
My question is are you fine with them knocking that down and starting over?
Hell yeah. I am. I just am, just because as we sit here at Halo Haven, I'm looking at the wall of, if you've ever seen some of our older videos, you've seen Chris's wall where it has the shot of the whole stadium from the inside. And, there's some things that I would hope they would bring over to the new field as far as like a nod to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like ode to
an homage.
Yeah, because there's stuff from like New Yankee Stadium got built. They brought some stuff over from the old to kind of have a seamless kind of transition. Like I would want the bullpen set up the same to kind of have that same kind of and then the when I think about, I don't know if this is true or not, but when I see the ivy along the side of the rock pile, I kind of in my head think of Wrigley Field, Chicago, which means Wrigley Field, the original stadium where the Angels played at.
I never thought of that.
So like in my eyes, I feel like that's an ode to that. I don't know if that's true or not, or me just making stuff up.
I have no idea.
So like I hope they keep something like that. Rock pile, I can take it or leave it. I like the water feature. I like the fireworks and the fire coming out of it when someone hits a home run. I wouldn't mind that, but I want something more open.
Let's take away the rock pile. What do we have? A boring stadium.
Some badass scoreboards. But no, like yes, I'm saying, yeah, I'm sure if you take the rock pile out, they have to make something to be the.
You got to put the big A in left.
Oh yeah, if they do something like that to where, I don't know how you. I guess it moved once. I guess it can be moved again. But if they do something like that, like if that's like the center field thing that where, that catches your eye, then I'm cool with that. But I don't know. I've been to enough stadiums now to where like I don't know. Or maybe not been to, but like seen enough stadiums, talking to enough people that have been to stadiums, like all these new ones are more open. My biggest thing is like the training facilities and all that stuff that are a little bit dated. like they redid the dugouts or not dugouts, the clubhouses not too long ago, but like the walkways and the tunnels and I don't know. To me, it's like if you're trying to impress or trying to bring over someone that's a top free agent, and they go to some of these other stadiums that are like state of the art and have all the bells and whistles, and you bring them to Angel
Like
Stadiums,
Wi-Fi?
yeah, exactly, like Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you show them like, but we
Dude,
got a rock pile.
But when you walk on the field is the same.
Yeah, I mean, so
Anywhere you go,
well, exactly. So why is
the
that?
grass is still
Well, that's
green.
like, yeah, but that's not gonna. So to me, that's the last thing I'm gonna look at to make a decision. I'm gonna look at all the other stuff like
Right. It's the
training,
location,
like training room,
location.
yeah,
location,
the
man.
taxes, the
Yeah.
taxes. But no, I mean, I'd be happy with either one. But if you're gonna push me on it, I would want a newer stadium, something more open, something where besides that 200 level, you can't see the game from the concourse, and I think that kind of sucks. Like if you're out trying to get something to eat, and then you kind of have to bend a certain way to hope there's a TV right there. Those TVs are always on delay, so you'll hear like the fans go crazy, and then you have to try to find like the TV to catch it on the delay.
Dang, it sounds like a bunch of first world problems going on, but anyways.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it's a baseball stadium that's probably going to cost like $1 billion to make. Of course, they're going to have to upgrade some things.
My honest opinion is Artie's going to build a new stadium.
I think. I mean, there's so much.
They're going to shift it to a different part of that parking lot that he purchased. So, anyways,
everything's still going to be the same though. I mean, it's still going to be easy access to the stadium or to the freeways. Parking's probably going to be less because they're going to build a bunch of stuff around it. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
So we will all be purchasing green seats, and we're going to have them in our garage.
Yeah, exactly. That's just the more they knock down, the more that's going to be available to come into Halo Haven. So obviously, that's definitely a plus for Chris and.
Plus, they said they built that stadium on Indian burial ground, so that
maybe that's
explains
bad luck.
the curse.
Maybe that's bad luck. Maybe
everything.
They got to move it like 200 feet a different way and see what happens.
Let's see.
But that's another edition of the Curators Chronicles.
Let's go! Batter up! We're taking the afternoon off. It's a beautiful day for a ball game, too.
And talking about stadiums being revamped, something that came out about a week ago. I sent you the link or the text.
Tempe Diablo.
Tempe Diablo, a place that is the Angels' second home. For people that don't know, Tempe Diablo Stadium in Tempe, Arizona, is the home of Angels spring training for a while now. But one of the things that's always been, I don't know if it's been missing, but obvious, is that it's kind of fallen behind the times when you look at some of the other stadiums in Arizona, as far as Mesa, Camelback. It's a single team stadium, which is cool because you don't have to worry about sharing with anybody else. But at the same time, they're missing some of those extra features that come when you split the cost with another team. But the Tempe Diablo has come out with a couple phases to help revamp Tempe Diablo Stadium. And again, that came out a little while ago. But one of the phases, the first phase of the planned revival, includes a new 3-level building on the third base side of the stadium to house a new home team locker room, suites, Angels office, and a team store. The phase is projected to cost $2.9 million, 10 of which will come from the Angels, and 10.9.
That's 20.9.
No, 20.9. Sorry, I've been drinking. 10.9 million from Tempe. Design work will begin soon, and phase 1 could be ready for spring training 2022.
Dude,
so to me, that is really soon. That is like
we broke ground yesterday.
That's to me, that seems like that's what it would have to be, is like they would have to break ground, tomorrow, to get all that done by 2022.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this extensively with John and everything. Like, the thing that Tempe Diablo is missing is that concourse wraparound in the outfield.
Because you get to the lawn and then
you get to the lawn and it stops. We're set up in the back. But we got a tailgate.
But the reason why it stops is because they have their weight room tent back there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like all these players, all these other facilities.
So you feel like on the concourse when you're walking around, like on a Saturday game, it's packed.
Oh yeah,
like you're up on people. And then you go to another park and you're just like, it's
It's
super
so much
airy,
more, wide
super
open,
airy.
and
And thinking back, like going from Palm Springs to
back in the day,
Tempe Diablo, we upgraded. But
Yeah.
now the way
Again, same
baseball
thing,
is gone.
but same thing. Now everyone else has been upgrading around there, and then
Exactly.
Tempe, I think, is the last one to really hasn't
And
changed.
they had to. If they didn't do that, the
right.
Angels are gone.
They're gonna have to be somewhere else in Arizona for sure. And Tempe again being I mean, I like the location. The location is really nice where they're
I like
at.
the Buttes.
The Buttes are right there. It's awesome. It's close to the freeway, and again, I guess that ties into our previous freeway access is really easy.
Yeah.
So obviously that would be a huge thing. But I think it's a third base side. So I'm thinking of that hill, that flat area right there where they put like a lot of the vendors for food and stuff like that. I'm guessing that's where they're going to start.
They're going to build up.
They're going to build up from there.
Exactly.
But I mean, that's still a pretty big project to say it might be done by 2022. And if it's not done by 2022, you're thinking at least part of the building is going to be around there for spring training. It might not be ready yet. So again, that's going to cut down a pretty big portion of like where people can sit and stuff like that. So, what's the economics? The ticket, like where people can sit, it's going to go down. So that makes the cost go up.
Yeah.
So supply goes down.
Supply and demand.
Yeah, supply goes down and prices go up.
I really can care less that they build offices and all that stuff.
For
Like,
the Angels front office probably does.
Cool. Yeah, right? Like that doesn't give us like more know, room as a fan. The concourse all the way around.
But you know what I did like?
That's
and
nice.
I think it was that surprise. They're split between the Rangers and another team. I forgot.
Giants?
No, it might be the Royals. Surprise. I don't know. But anyways, like on one side of the stadium, like the third base side is one team, the first base side is another team. But what they did there, because they have buildings like right around the concourse, is that you're able to look into BP practice. So if there's guys in there taking BP, you're able to look in and watch them and stuff like that. So I hope they talk about locker rooms and stuff like that. So hopefully that's kind of part of it also. But I would love to see like a rendering of how it's going to look once they start building up. I mean, Oakland's getting renderings of stadiums that they're not even sure they're going to use or move to yet. So hopefully a rendering or something like that comes out soon. So there's a second phase for this plan also by Tempe Diablo. And phase 2 of this renovation includes a new outfield concourse to create a 360-degree concourse experience around the park, which is something Chris said it's missing, and that would be awesome. I wonder how that would work. But modernize restroom and better traffic flow outside the facility. This phase is projected to cost $30 million, which the city and team have proposed through the MOU. I don't know what the hell that is. Would come from Tempe through future voter approved bonds. Reading's hard. So again, a 360-degree concourse is something like you said feels like it's been missing. So I think that's kind of like the last thing, though, honestly, that would be missing from an upgrade like this is that 360-degree concourse, updating the restrooms. I think they're still using the trough system, which is kind of like,
I miss the trough system with the ice.
The ice.
The only place in America that you're going to go to a professional game, and have the trough system with ice is Oakland.
Yeah, but that's
they still have that
for now.
Yeah,
for now until they move out.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, would you rather see them in Oakland, Vegas, or Portland?
Oakland.
Oakland, you want to see in Oakland?
Yeah, they gotta stay in Oakland, man.
Hopefully, the Alameda County and
Dude, can you imagine your team leaving?
What? Which
worse?
3 teams?
Huh?
3 teams leaving?
All your teams leaving. Let's destroy that town.
Golden State's in San Francisco,
especially from a city that's kind of railing, trying to rise up, trying to develop. I feel bad for that town.
So hopefully, but if it's in Vegas, road trip. Yeah. I mean, it's still a lot closer drive than Oakland for sure. And it's definitely probably going to be a dome, so you don't have to worry about.
Vegas makes sense because the Raiders and all that.
And the Knights, I'm telling you, man, they love their Knights out there. When I went to the ball game,
is this a all hockey podcast?
I mean, don't ask me. Besides the Knights, the Kings, and the Ducks, I'm not sure if I know much more about any other hockey team. So,
are you watching the Mighty Ducks on Disney Plus?
I
Are
am.
you really? Oh gosh, I watched it a little bit.
It's something that me and the wife do.
Gordon Bombay.
Yeah,
I-
Emilio.
SFS, the Mighty Duck guy.
Standing right there.
Anyway,
But yeah, Night at the Roxbury callback for you young guys out there that
You
listen to the
youngsters.
podcast. I don't know if you know about
Yeah.
that, but that's definitely something. But before we go, I want to bring up this again. Obviously, we are going to do a fundraiser, and we brought it up before. The Bearded Villains are going to have a fundraiser June 26th out in Fullerton at Barrel and Stive Poorhouse. Again, that's in Fullerton, 250 West Santa Fe Avenue, Unit 20, Fullerton, California. Between the hours of 11 a.m. and 4 p.m., 10% of the proceeds will be donated to the Tyler Skaggs Foundation. And their thought, again, the Bearded Villains of the IE are holding this, and this is their idea. They're what they want to do is do something for Johnny, and obviously Johnny was part of that chapter, the IE chapter, the Bearded Villains, and they knew his involvement with the Tyler Skaggs Foundation, our involvement with the Tyler Skaggs Foundation, and they wanted to do something in his name, and so they came up with this idea. And with everything kind of opening up now, I think it's a really good idea. Again, that's Saturday, June 26th in Fullerton. We are working also on raffle prizes. We are working on stuff like that to give away. Some of the prizes, like I mentioned before, that we have already secured or talked to people about it. Obviously, we mentioned it last time. A signed ball by Brandon Marsh. We have a 4-ticket package for Angel Game. Really nice seats. The 300 section donated, and obviously sunglasses that we got donated by I guess friends of the podcast. Now we didn't know about it. The one of their people listen to us and follow us on Halo Haven.
yeah, who knew?
Yeah. So what is it?
Kanon.
Kanon sunglasses.
Handcrafted in Italy.
I think I have mine here because when I got to Chris's, the sun was out and it's
Yeah.
bright outside. But so if
Yeah.
you're watching on our
Handcrafted in Italy,
So if you're
designed in California.
so if you're watching on our
get
Twitter, our Facebook,
I
or
get
our
that.
YouTube, let me make it a bigger screen. There we go.
There we go.
But yeah, really good stuff, really good quality. Bunch of designs. Check it out online.
Dude, I don't think I've ever had polarized sunglasses before because I was walking outside, everything just looked brighter. I felt like
It's definitely
I almost felt like optimistic about life because of sunglasses.
it's
And that sounds ridiculous, but
it's obviously something like I had to get used to because you're right. I never had any
it was like
either.
bright.
Right, and I was like, wow, is this what it?
It's like
what is it?
HD.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll have a pair of glasses to give away too, and the idea is that
Are they auctioning a date with you?
I gotta run by that. I gotta run that by the
Run
wife
that by your
first.
wife. Tell us for charity.
Yeah, tell her it's all good, all good.
Yeah.
A day, as long as the date's the Angel Game, I'll be fine. And not a guy. But yeah, so we have that again, the 26th coming up. Trying to get some more things to raffle off. The whole idea is to again raise money for the Tyler Skaggs Foundation, make one big donation in Johnny's name to a foundation that we have had the privilege to donate on a number of times. You know, Carly and Carly Skaggs, Tyler's wife, and his mom Debbie have done a great job with that foundation since the unfortunate passing of Tyler. Actually, they are going to have an all-star game. I don't know if you saw that. They're going to have a high school all-star game at Jackie Robinson.
Dang, I wanted to play.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if your eligibility is up yet, but they're going to have it at Jackie Robinson Field in, I believe, July 3rd. I think it's a Saturday at Jackie Robinson Field
UCLA.
at UCLA. Exactly. So if you're not familiar with that stadium, it's a great stadium to watch college baseball, and they're going to put together a really good, a solid high school all-star game for kids in the area, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And they're going to start it, obviously supply the jerseys and all that stuff, but that stuff doesn't happen without donations from people. So obviously look up tylerskaggsfoundation.org and donate whatever you can, $1, $2, whatever. But we are really looking forward to seeing that. And then obviously the June 26th fundraiser come out. I know
we'd like to meet you.
Right, exactly.
In person,
maybe if you say, hey, I hear you guys on the All Angels podcast, maybe we'll give you like another 5 extra tickets when you buy some. I don't know. I'm sure we can work something out. But again, we don't come out to Anaheim. We're not Anaheim, but we don't come out to Orange County a ton unless it is Angel games. And Chris has been MIA for a little bit because of COVID and all that other stuff. And so hopefully we'll be able to get him out there soon. If not, we'll definitely be there Saturday, June 26th in Fullerton. Again, that's 250 West Santa Fe Avenue, Unit 20, Fullerton, California, Saturday, June 26th. So hopefully we'll see people out there, see you guys out there. And we'll be, obviously cycling it through the social media and here. This won't be the last time you hear about it. So we're going to try to pump this up and make it as big as we can now that everything's opening up and getting a little bit back to normal. I think it's a good time to have something like this for sure. So that's going to do it. Unless you have anything else, Chris, you can think of.
No,
that's it. And
sounds good. We'll see you.
We'll see you. And glad to be back at Halo Haven. And now that the school season is school year is kind of winding down for you, be here more
full force.
Right, exactly. And then even too, at some Angel games, not this series coming up, not this weekend series, but next weekend series homestand. I think they're on the road next week, and then the week after that, later in June, they are going to be at home against Detroit, 100% capacity.
Wow.
Are you looking forward to that? Or are you still going to be kind of weird about it?
I can care less.
Yeah, it's like
it's kind of weird how we go from like 25-30% and then we jump
100.
all the way up.
Nothing can stop us.
Yeah. So you think you go 50, 75
gradual? No. We're gonna just cannonball.
Nothing makes sense.
Cannonball, baby. Yeah. So if we're not gonna be in Seattle, there's a if we're not gonna be at the Seattle series, there's a very good chance we'll be at one of the games against Detroit, full capacity. We'll see what happens. So maybe Saturday, maybe tailgate, maybe not. We'll see what happens. But definitely check us out here at All Angels Podcast for that information. Also check us out at Halo_Haven on Twitter and on Instagram. And again, one more time, shout out to Sunday League, the podcast. I was on there, dropped Monday. Check it out. It's about a 2.5 hour podcast.
Dang,
so
that's a lot of investment.
So listen to it in segments if you can, but it's funny. I had a great time. Check out those guys again at Sunday League, the podcast. Out now with me being a special guest on it. It was a lot of fun. So until next time, I am Daniel Garcia.
I'm the curator.
And you listen to another edition of the All Angels Podcast.